It's the beginning of the rainy season, the fall rainy season. And beside our driveway, we have what's left of the daylily patch. And to me, the rainy season and daylily patches, fall, mean cordage. You know, I don't pick them when they're green, because they might still try to produce. What I do is the ones that are all dead, I pull out, and if I pull them straight from the stem, you can see how they get this nice wide area. To the end of it. And they actually go to a tapered point, because, well, they're the leaves of those daylily. See if I can get that point in here one-handed. There we go. Oh, lost it. Okay. And goes to a small tapered point. And I gather, you can see there's some more. There's one right there, right there. There's some coming streaming along under here. And there's one coming off of that one. There's one right there. And they're all over out here. Tucked underneath. See, this one's half turned. I still won't do that one. But there is just bundles out here still. And this is just one stand of our daylilies. This is where I've already gathered from, obviously. And I hang them up to dry. As you can see, I've actually got its own cordage wrapped around it. And they get pretty dry. There's some, all the different lengths. And it's right up under that eave. And the cord I'm working on, I always hang on either side of it. This is one strand I'm working on. And I'm trying to, I started uneven, but as you can see, now the ends are matching. Alright, so I've got some cordage, or some of the daylily leaves here that I gathered and that have been drying well. And usually I like to start them with the ends a little bit uneven, so that they don't end up with even ends like this. So when I splice in new ones, I don't have double lumps going on and make it weird thickness in some areas. This one ended up being that way, but I didn't start it that way. So use a Z-twist. Do a simple twist here. Sometimes if you ever do this to it, it'll make them better cordage. And again, this is what I do with the daylily leaves. I wouldn't recommend this with everything. Each cordage has its own properties. Start with an uneven length. As you can see here, if I double the ends over, there definitely one end sooner than the other. I do a twisty loopy, little loopy twisty, and then I do the Z twist. So I've got my little loop. I've got the bottom one is coming up, we'll call it on the north face, and the south is the top one. I place my finger under the knot and directly over it to hold that fold in place. I simply twist it like that with my finger, and then with my other fingers I grab the one that's on top, pulling them apart in opposition, moving my thumb a little bit forward to squeeze the next fold over, and there I have it. And I keep doing that, and after you do it quite a while, this Z-twist, you see you can get pretty quick with it. And again, I like pulling them really tight. When I do this, the fold under, I like holding them really tight in opposition. It makes a really good twist. And you just keep continuing on till you get to the end of your knot, or end of your line, and I'll show you how to splice in more. Alright, so I've come to where I only have a good maybe 2 inches left in this line with my cordage. So I'm going to go ahead and splice in. What I like to do is I like to unroll it a little bit, make it as loosey-goosey as possible. And I take a fresh strand, and the smallest piece possible I fold under it. So it's right there. You can see how it's just kind of sitting there. I'm holding it again. You can see here's the piece of it sticking up. I like to leave a lot left over. I can cut off any excess later or leave it. It doesn't really matter. It just kind of looks pretty when you cut it off. But I'm going to leave it. And I like to use this much, 2 inches on either side. It does waste a bit, but it tends to make it a bit stronger. So I'm just going to start my fold like that. And again, I'm doing the same thing. When you have long strands, after I do a fold, I like to run my fingers under it. You can see this is just a little extra, just to separate the cordage, the two strands opposite. But you can see where I've just literally laid in another piece. And you can see where part of it's sticking out, but look. You see how it's in there? And it's actually part of it now. And I would just keep continuing on in that vein and keep adding some. When I come to the next short side, with about 2 inches left, I'd add another one. Now daylilies make pretty good rope, pretty good cordage that is, but you can see where I've left some of these untrimmed, kind of rough on the edges, but you know, that's not what's important. I've got a pretty good length here, and I'm going to go ahead and double it up. Now the trick to doubling it up is actually doing it left hand. So I'm going to, instead of twisting like this when I did at the beginning, I'm going to twist the opposite way. So you see where it folds over that way. And I'm going to use my right hand as the squeeze. And the Z twist is simply, again, you just roll away from you just like you would with your right hand, come back and turn. And I like using the daylily because even though it's not the strongest cordage, it's strong enough for a fire bow, which I'll show in another video, when you double it up like this. And again, you can get going pretty fast. And it's a great thing to do when you're sitting around the fire telling stories, or watching movies with the family, or just chilling out on the porch, drinking a beer, or watching the moon rise or sunrise or whatever. It's a perfect way to keep your hands busy and be functional. If you know how to make cordage, you're pretty good and set on a lot of things. Cordage is so useful, and you can see I'm not speeding this up in any way. I'm used to doing it, so my body just kind of rolls into it. If your hands get tired, then stop. Unless it's a survival situation, of course. Now if you look, I've got wonderful doubled up Z-twist, or reverse Z-twist. A lot of people call it a couple different things, but it's it takes a lot of strength. I didn't break this, and I just put all my strength in it. I've got a fire bow here that I actually use double Z daylily cordage on, and I'll have a video of me making fire with that natural cordage. I've sanded this down. This is the one that sits on the mantelpiece. Obviously this is just a pretty one. You know, this isn't, obviously I'm not going to carry this with me camping. I'll make one fresh, or in a survival situation I'd make one fresh, as needed, because it's a dried out piece of wood, but it's not super light. Granted, if I wanted to, it'd be a pretty good shillelagh with that hook end. But anyways, I'll have a video on it later, me making fire with the natural cordage, daylily cordage. So anyways, that's that's it. I've got some cordage made. I've got plenty strands left, and you saw the ones hanging on the porch for me to make cordage with, so I better get going. I've got a total of about 8 feet now, and I want to get to 50, 60. I want to have a good mass of cordage sitting at the house. I can use it in so many situations. I'm almost out of jute twine, so I'm going to make tons of this cordage. And for all our applications here on the homestead, I'm going to start using natural cordage. That's my way of doing it. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening or day.